Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 2nd, 2018. The fire potential impacts are shown here for the next few days. We definitely have some concerns as far as fire weather goes for both wind, low relative humidities, and some isolated thunderstorms coming to central portions of the Great Basin. First, the wind. We have some wind in parts of Nevada and western Utah today. The winds will be strongest and most widespread on Tuesday, particularly over much of Utah and southeast Nevada, and then some of those winds will linger into Wednesday. For the thunderstorm coverage, it looks like we're looking for just a band of very isolated thunderstorms possible across central Nevada, reaching up into northern Utah. These thunderstorms will likely begin late this afternoon or this evening, and then continue into possibly the first half of tomorrow. Again, these thunderstorms will be very isolated in nature and generally dry. Yesterday was a very dry, sunny, and warm day across the geographic area. Fire activity has been picking up over the last few days, and there was a new large fire that started near the Strawberry Reservoir in northern Utah, and this fire is already over 7,000 acres, and a Type 2 team has been ordered for that fire. The observed precipitation for the past 14 and 30 days is shown here. It's continued to be a very dry weather pattern, particularly over Nevada and Utah, and especially across the south, where long-term dryness has created very extreme fire danger conditions. Those fire danger trends are shown here on this map. We're looking at ERC here, and we can see that many of the areas across southern and eastern portions of the Great Basin are above the 90th percentile, and many sites are even above the 97th percentile or close to setting historical records for the time of year. And there's no relief expected in the next 5 days or so from these near record ERCs. This morning's satellite imagery shows westerly flow in place across much of the geographic area today, as there's an area of low pressure along the U.S.-Canadian border that will be dropping further south today. It's this area of low pressure that will increase winds over the next coming days as that low drops a little bit further south, and will bring a very slight chance for some of those isolated thunderstorms. By this afternoon, we'll see that low dipping a little bit further south, which will increase winds, particularly over Nevada. For this afternoon, we do have some high risk issued for northeast Nevada for some of these stronger winds. Those afternoon wind gusts are shown in the image on the left, with gusts up to 20 to 25, perhaps 30 miles an hour in some spots over eastern Nevada. Minimum relative humidities are quite low, with single digits expected over the southern and eastern portions of the geographic area. By Tuesday, that low drips a little bit further south and continues to move further east, which will bring stronger winds to the geographic area, especially Utah on Tuesday, and that's also when we'll see a little bit of moisture associated with that low tracking across eastern Nevada and up into northern Utah. The strongest winds are shown here in the afternoon on the map, with gusts up to 40 to 45 miles an hour possible once again over Utah and eastern Nevada. The image on the right shows the area that we may expect to see some of those isolated thunderstorms stretching across central Nevada and up into northern Utah, and then up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. By Wednesday, drier southwest to southerly flow will be in place across the geographic area as a high pressure ridge builds in. We'll start to see temperatures really begin to increase starting on Wednesday area-wide as that ridge builds over the area. Winds will still be fairly gusty across central portions of the Great Basin on Wednesday. The strongest winds will likely occur over central and eastern Nevada and slightly move into western Utah on Wednesday. And those single-digit relative humidities expand further north over central and northern Nevada and central and northern Utah. The 3-day precipitation accumulations shown here really highlight the fact that we're still in a very dry pattern for the next few days, and any thunderstorms that we do get or showers are going to be very extremely isolated, so much so that they'll hardly even pop up on the map, except over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, where those areas are closer to that low pressure system. By Thursday, more of the same is expected as that ridge remains in place. High temperatures should reach near 100 degrees starting on Thursday through the weekend across some of the central and eastern valleys as that ridge strengthens. The ridge continues to dominate on Friday. We will possibly begin to see a little bit of moisture moving up into the Great Basin. Again, this is very trace amounts of of moisture by Friday, so we'll really be looking at how much and where we may start to see some of this move into the geographic area and where we might see some of those isolated thunderstorms. Winds may pick up once again over western portions of the geographic area on Friday as another little low begins to drop into the Pacific Northwest. And by Saturday, that ridge flattens out just a bit, which will still be very strong, very hot, very dry, but we may begin to see a little bit more moisture working its way up into the far southern geographic area. And then right now on Sunday, it looks like we might possibly get a little bit of a better shot of moisture up into the Great Basin, which could produce possibly a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms. This is the first day we're really looking at anything that might actually produce some precipitation somewhere, but we'll be watching this forecast very closely. The 7-day the 7-day precip totals are shown here, which really still shows a very dry forecast even for 7 days. We're looking at the edge of that 7-day period before we can see any real precipitation moving up into the geographic area, and so the confidence is very low on any kind of relief. The extended forecast from the Climate Prediction Center is still looking for very hot temperatures across the geographic area, and they're still putting in that above normal precipitation chances across the very far southern third or fourth of the geographic area. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.